what I want to see in general is that not just community, but the whole world to really get together. And I feel like a lot of people are just backstabbing each other for no reason. And I'm just confused. I'm like, why are you backstabbing this person? What? I feel like a lot of time people do not know how to be happy with themselves. And that's why there's so many negativities happening, especially on social media. Like, this world should not be that negative, you know? I just wish I can see people loving themselves a lot more than believing what social media is saying, because nowadays everybody's using social media. And so I just hope and wish that people slowly cut off the social media, really think about themselves, really truly be happy in themselves.
Welcome to the Planetary Health Lab podcast, where science meets whole person healing. We interview top experts in integrative wellness to bring you vetted, evidence-based tools for mental and physical well-being. Because when we align human health with planetary health, we all thrive. Hi there, my name is Austin, and I am host and editor of the Planetary Health Lab podcast. This week, I have the distinct pleasure of talking with international speaker, multi-time best-selling author, coach, and advocate for the deaf and disabled, the trailblazing deaf queen boss herself, Kellina Powell. Kellina shares with us her journey through adversity as she has learned how to turn pain into purpose. And now she teaches others to express themselves fully and be seen in a hearing world with confidence. She is a true believer in challenging the status quo and is an inspiration for taking action and becoming the change that you want to see in this world.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Austin, for having me today. Hello, everybody. My name is Kellina Powell, aka the Deaf Queen Boss. I am an international speaker, four-time author, and I'm a coach as well for young adults with disabilities. I'm a huge advocate for the disability community to bridge the gap between the non-disabled community and the disability community. Thank you.
Incredible. Very excited to be chatting with you here today. I'm curious. So, can you tell us a bit about your program and how does coaching and therapy differ generally for someone with a disability or specific within the deaf community as well?
So for me, I actually work with everybody as a whole, just because everybody from different disability come up to me and say, Kalina, I'm so sorry, I really want to come and work with you. So yeah, I take in everybody, doesn't matter what you are, but I do specifically focus on youth from 15 years old to 35 years old. And it really doesn't matter what you are, as long as you're in that age gap, I'm okay with anybody. And what I do with my coaching program is I only focus on positive psychology. I don't focus on negative psychology, just because I know some people are not comfortable talking about their trauma. And I don't think us young people do, to be honest. And for me as a young person, like, it's not always something that we like to talk about. So I thought instead I wanted to change it up and focus on positive psychology in my coaching business.
That's amazing. I love that. It's nice to bring that positivity for sure.
Exactly.
Other than the positive psychology, can you give us a little breakdown of how your coaching philosophy differs from other philosophies or other coaches?
Yeah, so every culture is very different from what I witnessed. And I went to school for psychology for those who didn't know. So I completely understand the philosophy of it. I realized is that everybody grew up different. Everybody had different cultures, religions. And for me, coming from a disability community, I realized that we have so much, I guess, so much things on our shoulder where we always have to be consistently doing something. And I realized that we we cannot find sometimes not all of us, some of us cannot find the positive outcome of our disability. And that's something that we struggle with a lot. And especially myself, as a young girl growing up, I always doubted myself so many times. And if you were to tell me when I was younger that I'll be successful now, I will probably laugh at you and say, there's no way I'm gonna be like this. And so I realized a lot of time with therapists and coaching, I noticed that sometimes with therapists they follow through the book. I did not want to follow through the book because everybody's mindset is completely different, and the way we can help people should never be through a book from 1990, and I'm reading my textbook and I'm like, how old is this textbook? And they're like, oh, it's a 1990. I'm like, yeah, no way. I cannot become a therapist. And so that's why I got into the coaching stream.
That's awesome. Helping people view and rewrite their story is incredible. Can you speak to how important it is to have someone to be able to relate to in that regard, and why it's so important to have just a community or a source for, all different types of people to be able to connect with and to be able to speak to.
Yeah, I love this question so much. So for me, I would say it's very important that we have reputation. It's because I realize that a lot of people are following the wrong people on social media, whoever we look up to. And I feel like if you do not have that role model, that reputation, how are you supposed to have somebody to look up to? Like, how are you supposed to have that, right? For me, when I was growing up, I never had anyone who looked like me or represent me, maybe one or two. And that was it. I never, to be honest with you guys, I only watched one death show while I was growing up. That was it. And I think, oh my God, I'm 28 years old and I only watched one death show out of my whole life. And so I realized how important it is to have reputation because you never know who needs your voice more than anything else. And that's why I continue using my voice as a 28-year-old, to continue doing that. And also because when you create a community, you're gonna realize how much bridges you're tapping into, right? And I notice a lot of time people, go out there, but they don't feel like they don't have a community because they don't know where to go to. And so that's why I feel like community is so important because it will get you farther in life and also will help you, right? Everybody wants to feel included. Everybody wants to feel like they can meet friends without judgment. And it's so important that we do have a community where we can go to talk about our problem and not feel shame of ourselves. So that's super important for me.
Perfect. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for sure. So I'm gonna harp back actually, because you had mentioned a big part of what you do is finding or helping people find the confidence within themselves, build that resilience, build that capacity to achieve whatever it is that they're looking to achieve. Can you break down a little bit more, maybe the science of confidence or how you view helping people gain that confidence within themselves, especially if they've come from a background of being part of an underprivileged community or having a disability? How do you help them really find that light, and just really build that momentum towards where it is or who it is that they want to become?
I love that question on wow. I love helping people find the confidence in themselves. What I do is I ask them to grab a piece of paper and I allow them to draw a circle of themselves in the center. And I said, put me and draw the line of people who you think is negative to you. And when they see that bubble, they don't see it. And I ask them question, why is this person so negative to you? And that's when they're gonna realize and said, "Oh my God, this person shut me down." And then we go over the conversation in terms of breaking down why is this person treat you this way? Why are you losing confidence with this person? And we can rate it out and figure out how can we boost my client confidence up while they have this person. Because for example, I know a lot of clients don't have family members that can understand what they're going through. I'm pretty sure a lot of us have family members that we cannot talk about our problem with, especially our mental health. And so I had that conversation with them about what is it that they want to turn the relationship into? What is it that we want? And from there on, I always tell my clients if they do have like a sticky note, and I want them to write 12 affirmation words that they can put on the sticky note. And what I would do is I would tell them to put it in their car or on their I don't know, on the kitchen cabinet. But 80% of the time I tell them to put the sticky note in the mirror when they get up in the morning. Where did you go first in the morning when you wake up? And they're like, "Oh, I go in my bathroom mirror first in the morning." And I said, "Perfect, put a sticky note in there that I love myself." And when they see that every single morning, they're like, "I love myself." And they're gonna repeat it. One of my clients did that and her self-esteem was so like it's just glowing. Like I said, wow. And so because you need to see something visually all the time, and that's why I tell my client, draw everything on a piece of paper so that they can see visually like, whoa, this is my life, this is my confidence, this person affects my self-esteem. But always gonna be somebody out there that's gonna doubt yourself, doubt you all the time. I have people doubting me all the time. So that's how I help my clients with their confidence.
Amazing. It must be so fulfilling too, just to watch people sort of come out of their shell and begin to blossom in that way. I feel like
Yeah.
the more you can take on too, the more you just prove yourself through that day-to-day action. Taking those first steps, you can really build that momentum. But it's so nice to have someone there along the way, 100%.
Exactly. So it's even point that you are finding someone you can rely on and someone that you can count on. And that's super important. I feel like a lot of people get therapist or coach stay with the the results is good, but there's so much more that you have to do. So
Yeah, and building that healthy relationship over time. What is one coaching strategy that anyone can implement, sort of the low-hanging fruit, perhaps, just to, again, kind of get that momentum going? But what can we do in our day-to-day to slowly build our confidence, maybe better, take care of ourselves a little bit better? Is there like one sort of foundational key that you found? Obviously, there's, it's a quite a complicated field. So there's not like a one simple thing that
yeah.
if there was, then we'd all be great, right? But is there something that you found either for yourself or for your clients, other than positive affirmations, that you can give to someone for their day-to-day lives to slowly implement that'll create some change over time?
That's a long question. Okay, I'm trying to break it down pretty short. I'm just I think for me, so I have people come to me too, right? They did the same thing like, how do I become a coach? How do I feel confident in my work? And thinking with clients, how do I feel confident that we can work together? I always tell people, look at the bigger picture. Don't look at something so small. If you look at the bigger picture and you realize, why are you doing that? Can I make an impact on this person's life? Can this person make an impact in my life? And that's something I always ask myself all the time when I do one-on-one calls, discovery call with the client. That I will ask them a lot, not a lot of questions, but like maybe 5 questions. And I said, this is what I can do. I help you with this. Can you please explain that to me? And so I have to see if I can help this client. And then this client will look at me and say, yeah, can Kellina really help me? Even though 90% of the client wants me, but I have to know that, can I truly help the client, or do this client need a therapist or someone who's more professional? Even though I do have a professional background, I rather be careful how I get treat people as well. And I don't want anybody to come and thinking that you know it all, right? And I feel like a lot of coaches, they always think that, like, oh, I know it all. I know this. I'm like, no, you don't. So I think that's the one thing everybody should think about, especially strategy, is understanding why and how can this person help you. And for like I think you mentioned before, like the gotta do with coaching is, I tell people like hop on a lot of podcasts talking about your coaching, doing like a coaching call with other people just to test it out, right? You just never know what people can provide to you. So yeah,
Awesome. Finding that deeper motivation. What is that intrinsic motivation in here?
exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. Is there something that's has been burning inside you lately that you feel you want to just put out there? Something you want to see more of in day to day, whether it's again towards building self-esteem or just overall raising consciousness, like how people kind of interact that you want to put out there at the moment.
I just wish that what I want to see in general is that, but not just community, but the whole world to really get together. And I feel like a lot of people are just backstabbing each other for no reason. I'm just confused. I'm like, why are you backstabbing this person? What? And so I feel like a lot of time people do not know how to be happy with themselves. And that's why there's so many negativities happening, especially on social media. Like this world should not be that negative. And so I just feel like I just wish I can see people loving themselves a lot more than believing what social media is saying, because nowadays everybody's using social media. Social media is like the new thing that everybody goes to now. And so I just hope and wish that people slowly cut off the social media, really think about themselves, really truly be happy in themselves, instead of being pleased out there to other people that doesn't even care about. So I think that's something very important. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It always seems like it's just a mirror reflection, right? People project what they're feeling. So if they're feeling negative about themselves, then that's what they're putting out there. But if you can get to a point where you're feeling that positivity, I feel like it really has a crazy shift, not only on yourself, but on those around you. It kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier. So you focus on positive mentorship, positive coaching, positive therapy, positive thinking. There's a decent amount. There seems to be sort of a shift, but how do you manage creating that positive environment while still being able to allow people to navigate through difficult emotions without it becoming sort of this toxic positivity,
Yeah.
become a buzzword? Would you mind just speaking to that as well and sort of how you manage that, ride that fine line?
I would say boundaries is super important to create boundaries. I tell people all the time, like, if you do not create boundaries, you're not gonna have other people respect you. It's all about come down to respect. And for me, I don't tolerate toxic at all. I make it very clear to people day one, like, listen, if you're gonna bring drama or bring toxic in my life, best believe the door is right there. I will kick you out. That's something I do, with especially with clients. Sometimes you have to be uncomfortable to tell clients, listen, I can no longer work with you because I'm really trying to help you, but this is not really working. And so I would say boundaries and respect. Those are the top two for sure. If you cannot create that respect with you and the person and the boundary, it's not going to get anywhere. So that's how I deal with it.
That makes sense. Yeah, sometimes honesty too, like people just really need to hear it, you know? Sometimes honesty is the highest form of love. And like you said, coming from a place of respect, not a place of judgment, but just being able to say something or acknowledge something could be so powerful.
Exactly, exactly. It's so important to acknowledge it, and I tell people like it's not easy because sometimes you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, but at the same time, I tell people who is going to be taking care of you if something bad was going to happen. Think of that way, and people don't realize that until I tell them, and they're like, "Wait, you're right, Kalina. I should not allow this one person negativity get into the way." So.
Well, I really appreciate the time. Do you have anything you'd like to promote at the moment?
Honestly, I will tell everybody, check out my book. It's called Every Day I Am Just That. And don't worry, guys, it's not a chapter book, it's a poem book. Who does not love poem, okay? So it's on Amazon. Go grab your copy and love you guys to get it.
Oh, look, I like that. Actually, can you tell us a bit more about it? What inspired that? It sounds really creative.
Yeah, so honestly, so my book is called Every Day I'm Just That. It's a poem book. The reason why I wrote this book is because when I was doing my research before I was started writing, I actually asked a lot of hearing people if they ever read a book by a deaf author, and 90% of them told me no. And one of my mentors said, "Why don't you write the first deaf book author, being a deaf author for other people who never write a book?" And I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna write a book." Like I was like, "Oh my god, like do you think I can do this?" And so I just kind of came out of my comfort zone. I said, "You know what? I'm just gonna write it, no big deal." And then I became the best-selling author twice on my first book, which was very crazy. I wasn't expecting it. And it really inspired me to write the book because when I was growing up, actually, I never read a book by a deaf author myself. And so that's why I actually started writing my book.
That's awesome, man. I'm really proud of you. That's super cool. You're smashing barriers down one way, one at a time. Oh, that's awesome. Wait, so your first book was multiple best-selling? That seems like so serendipitous. Like clearly there was a people want to see that out there, there's a need for it.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'll take that. No, I think it's really cool when people aren't afraid to be the first. You know what I'm saying? Aren't afraid to put themselves out there. It is cool that you just saw like a void there and we're like, you know what? I wanted that as a kid. I'm gonna fill it. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, for real this time. Let's go ahead and wrap it. Thank you so much for the time. That was an awesome interview. Looking forward to chatting with you at some point in the near future. Following along for sure on your journey. Looking forward to the book as well. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I'm curious. I like poetry.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Thank you very much for being on the pod and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you for having me. You too. Bye. Afton.
Thank you for listening to the Planetary Health Lab podcast. If you're interested in being a guest or you want to nominate someone doing impactful work in the integrative wellness space, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out by email at info@tinyhabitat.com. That's info@tinyhabitat.com. Better health starts with better information. Keep learning with us on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. And until next time, we'll see you soon.